Welcome back to another episode of the Agents to Owners podcast. With me today, I have two very special guests all the way from Islamabad, Pakistan. I have two virtual professionals, Uswa Zainab and Musab Shabaz, that are have been both been with Savvital Virtual Professionals for just over a year or
Yeah.
so.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you guys very much for being here. This is very exciting. um, and to my knowledge, this hasn't been done before on any of our insurance podcasts. As we were discussing earlier, virtual professionals, virtual assistants, it's a very hot topic in our industry, and definitely an industry that is growing and growing. So I think this is going to be great for our audience to learn a little bit about what you guys do, what it's like on your side, to hear directly from virtual professionals, to hear what it's like to work in this arena. So before we get going, uh, Uswa, why don't you tell me a little bit about your background and how you came to Savvital?
Okay, so I shifted to Islamabad just for this job. And last year, I graduated from one of the top universities of Pakistan. And I did my undergraduate in English literature with a minor in education. So shifting to this insurance industry was a huge, huge decision
Yeah,
for me.
yeah.
And I shifted from one city to another just for this job. And how I got to know about this place, a friend of mine used to work here, and she was the one who told me to quickly make a decision and come to Istamba because of the work culture. She was having a great time here, the environment, the welcoming atmosphere here. And I think also because considering the job market and everything here in Pakistan, I felt like this can be a good platform for me to kind of um, use my skills and a bit step out of my comfort zone to experience a new domain and work with an industry that can help me polish my skills that I've learned during my undergraduate. So, yeah, this is how I um, started my first ever job right after the undergraduate program.
What area are you from? How far is that
I am
to
from
Islamabad?
Pura. Yeah, it's.
Okay,
Have you heard of the salt mines, the second largest mines in the world?
I have heard of the
The
salt mines. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I I live there. Basically, my parents work there, and it's 2 to 3 hours away from this place. So yeah, I kind of live away from home, and for this job, we need to move because it's really a remote kind of area, and you need to shift to a city for a job or any kind of opportunity that you're looking forward to. So yeah.
What is um the job market for, you said you were in elementary education? What is the job market currently for that for in the education sector?
You're talking about the elementary education.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, okay, I get it. The education side. I feel like the universities and the higher education here in Pakistan, they're working more on the research side of their education. And what I have learned so far is that the models of education here, it needs to be revamped,
Mm,
and a lot of things need to be researched on. And I think majorly it's more about the practical side of the education because we are more of made to see the theoretical side of education. So there's
okay.
no practical demonstration that we see here in Pakistan. Whatever we learn or we study, we're not given that opportunity or chance to practically apply that knowledge, basically.
Mm,
So yeah.
okay. Musab, how about you? Tell me a little bit about your background and how you came to Savital.
Yeah, sure, Brad. Thanks for having us. It's been a long time coming, and we're both really excited to be here.
Yeah.
So, I'll just give you a brief background. So, I graduated back in 2021 from one of the top universities in Islamabad with a bachelor's degree in business administration, and I majored in marketing.
Oh,
So, over the course of my degree, I'd say over the past 2 or 3 semesters. Plus, the year after that, I was working in the startup sector here in Islamabad. I worked for one of the biggest conglomerates in the country as a marketing consultant before I came here at Savvital. And so, as Uswa said, we obviously Islamabad's very small social circle. Think of it as Wisconsin but smaller. So everyone knows everyone, right?
Okay.
So yeah, so since everyone knows everyone, we had a lot of friends, our graduates, our alumni from our colleges who were already working here. So they told me about this place. And when I was due to switch position from my previous conglomerate, I spoke to Mo, I spoke to people here, and I was interested, intrigued by the work culture and what they were doing here. So I made the switch, and my current designation here is a senior marketing associate, where I am looking internally at a lot of the marketing collateral we're doing for Savvital as a company, the campaigns we run as a company, the brand outlook. And furthermore, I'm working with a public adjustment firm in Wisconsin. So, yeah, I've had my fair share of experience in the marketing sector, and now I'm exploring this new sector and I'm enjoying it so far.
Great. And how long have you been? I'm sorry. How long have you been with Savvital?
So, I completed a year last
Okay.
month.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's what kind of things do you guys like to do in your free time? What do you guys do for fun? Musab, why don't you start?
Yeah, sure. So, I'm sure you guys, I've spoken to my client about this extensively and we've bonded over this. How you guys have the MLB, baseball, and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, one of my main passions, one of my side hustles, I'd say, I love sports statistics, and I've been a sports journalist in my freelance time too.
Mm.
So, one thing I really enjoy is it's our national sport, I'd say. It's not officially, but it's called cricket.
Cricket. Yeah.
Yep, yep. So it's a Commonwealth game originating from England, and I'd say by population standards is the biggest sport in the world. A lot of people would dispute with that, but that's my statement. And I am
Okay.
obsessed with that sport. So I have been in a lot of journalistic and media coverage projects with that. And other than that, I'm a geography and music geek. Ask me the randomest things about countries you want to know, and I'll give you that useless information at a quick snap.
Okay.
Yep.
Uswa, how about you? What do you like to do in your free time?
Okay, so just like I mentioned before, I live away from home. So I live here at an apartment. So my hobbies and interests mostly revolve around doing house chores, cooking food for myself, and like just bugging my friends, making random plans, going on like coffee hangouts, and so like that. And also sometimes I like to sing in my free time. So this is what I like
Uh,
doing.
okay. What do you like to sing?
Are we
You
gonna
want me
make
to
her
go ahead?
sing?
We're not gonna make her sing. I'm just curious what she likes to sing.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift, anything I might know?
I I like Taylor Swift.
Okay,
Yeah, a lot
okay.
of our pop culture comes from the States. I'd say
Yeah,
90% of it.
yeah.
True.
Um, so we will occasionally in our office, we will occasionally do uh trivia, or we try to do a game like every other Thursday. And we'll do trivia, or we've also done Jeopardy. And in my virtual professional, Rhubarb just crushes, and she's so excited about it. And it's mostly celebrities and movies, and she just smokes everybody. It's hysterical.
Oh.
I also tell her she has to get out of the house more and stop watching so much television. But yeah, so it's kind of funny. Um, when you guys first started and you were looking to, you were going to start with your client, your public adjusting firm and your insurance agency, was that something that you guys were nervous about when you first got going?
Uswa,
Uswa,
you
you
wanna
want to
go?
start?
Okay, so you're talking about what expectations I had in my mind before I was joining this whole industry, and was I kind of overwhelmed?
Well, for me, I would just thinking ahead is just because there's so much. I mean, we're talking about two drastically different cultures and countries, and there's a whole lot of unknown.
Yeah,
Especially in any new job, you're likely to be nervous. For
yeah,
this, where you're remote, you don't meet the people, and you have to try to kind of get into this company and learn them and learn how they operate. I would just think that it was something that would be little nerve wracking. So I just wanted to get your
yeah.
opinion on that.
Okay, so I would say I felt like we all went through this experience when COVID hit us. Like
Mm.
it was both a blessing and a disguise for us. And during that period, when everything went remote, we kind of attended our university classes online. Our instructors used to teach everything online. We used to work on projects, deal with people, communicate, interact, and deliver content. Everything used to be online. So I think that was the period that made me a little bit more comfortable with this whole experience. And when I knew I was applying for this job, uh, and I would be working with a company based in US, I was kind of prepared for it because uh, I know that this kind of communication and this whole remote thing and this whole job market is kind of getting the new normal,
Mm.
right? So
Yeah.
I was excited to work with
Yeah.
people outside Pakistan because I always wanted to start with an international company and
Mm.
just experience an organizational culture from a very different place. So this platform was the perfect platform for me to get all sorts of experience, whether doing things online or communicating with people outside my country, working on tasks that I had no prior experience of,
Mm.
and working on an industry that I did not know of because we don't
Yeah.
have insurance in Pakistan just like you guys have in US. So learning everything from scratch, every sort of software and the tasks and the whole processes of everything was really, really I feel like exciting and something
Yeah.
new to learn from me and out of the box kind of thing. So yeah, it
Yeah.
was a good and like I feel very proud of my decision.
Yeah. Musab, how do you feel? How did you feel about when you first got going?
Yeah, sure, Brad. So we're talking about the transition here, and then you're asking us about how I'm sure it comes from a point of uneasiness because obviously we're jumping into a sector. The clients are there. We're never going to meet them. We're here. What about job security? So many questions pop up, right?
Yeah.
And I'd say a thing that helped Uswa, I, and the other 150 associates we here have here right now is that I think Savvital's created a system here that's succeeding because the office here and the culture here and the
Mm.
training team. I'd like to start with the training team. So whenever Uswa, Musab, even Brad, if anyone's joining, let's say they have no prior insurance experience, they have no prior adjustment experience, right? What they're asking for is a college degree. You're up to the mark, you're up to work, and that's it. And when you jump in here, I'd say the training here is so comprehensive that
Mm.
we don't really need to worry about anything, because when we all first landed here, we had to undergo a quite a comprehensive training program, so that ensured a safety net. And the other thing I'd say is because we have a hybrid model here, we have a very nice office here in Islamabad, which we can come into when we feel the need to. And because of the working space we have here, because we have an option to work from home, I'd say it gives us a lot of room to breathe. And also, it doesn't put us into that social sort of isolation which complete remote work does. We
Yeah.
still have colleagues. I'm meeting Uswa daily. I'm meeting Mo. I'm meeting Rubab when she shows up to the office. So there's that thing. I'd say that keeps me sane, and that is one reason why I didn't choose a few other
Mm.
competitors that were completely remote. I cannot do that. I'm a
Yeah.
social animal, and I need to meet people.
Yeah, also I just want to add how
Yeah.
it's not just the work that we're doing here, it's about the whole environment. We have
Mm.
committees here that we can join apart from the work that we do. Uh, this whole office culture is a kind of a space where you feel more like united to people, more of a family kind of a vibe
Mm.
because they're conducting different retreats for us. We go up north and like spend time over there with the colleagues. And honestly, when I shifted to Islamabad, I did not know anyone here. And now, in 1 year, all I can think of are the people who I work with at Savvital. And it's just how, in such a small time, this place has given me the vibe where you can openly and freely express everything, any sort of idea you have, and you can just work on anything new. You can uh, work on so many different things, not just the particular tasks that you do on day to day basis. So yeah, it kind of gives a wholesome vibe, I would say.
Wow, that's amazing. Let's talk a little bit about what you guys do for your clients. Uswa, you want to start? You work with
Yeah,
a
sure.
insurance agency in Oklahoma. Why don't you talk a little bit about that agency and what it is that you do for them?
Okay, so when I started with just handling some of the things or running an agency management system. And slowly and gradually I got trained, just like Musab mentioned, we have a whole department here. And obviously we don't know much about insurance. We got trained on everything. And I started from quoting and requoting, just adding information of the clients and finding out and shopping premiums for them. And then I started dealing with clients, taking all the inbound and outbound calls for them, and getting on board new sort of clients and dealing with their day-to-day issues,
Mm,
reporting all sorts of claims, and even sending out those applications of insurance, and just uh, entering all sorts of data and their cancellations, their renewals, like everything related to the home and auto and life insurance. So yeah, it was a very overwhelming in the start, but gradually when I started to learn the whole procedure of insurance, how it works and how it starts and what are the processes and the steps involved, then it all kind of made sense to me. And why is each and every step important, what kind of softwares you need to use, what kind of raters are involved while finding out different premiums about the best companies that you can have your insurance with, etc. And also not just that side of it, but also marketing side of it. So
mm,
I had no background in marketing, but I kind of stepped out of that comfort zone of mine, and I was like, let's just take this challenge of learning this side as well. And then I worked on that creativity side, where we used to get different testimonials from the clients. I used to create posts and then uh, post them on the social media
okay.
platforms like Facebook, Instagram. So it was all like a good experience. And now I kind of work on more than 25 to 30 tasks
Yeah.
on regular
Yeah, that's a
basis. Yeah.
lot. That's a
Yeah.
lot that you went through. How long did it take you, would you say, to get comfortable with communicating with the customers?
With the customers, I feel like when I started taking care of the inbound and outbound calls,
Mhm.
it took me around like a month or two to
Wow.
exactly and completely understand what sort of things needs to be handled in what way. So my client was super supportive, and she used to train me on everything and be very flexible about me asking questions or making mistakes and learning from them. So I really liked that side, which kind of kept me going and
Yeah.
motivated me to like keep on learning new things on regular basis. Yeah.
Well, it is it's overwhelming for anybody, coming
Yeah.
into this business. Do you work for an independent agency like me where you have multiple
Yeah.
companies? Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
lot to learn. It's a lot to learn,
True.
all the different company sites, how they operate, how to navigate your way through. It's very overwhelming, not to mention it's, working for a new company. So a month would be really
Agreed.
quick. That's really impressive. Because it's hard to talk to people about things that you really don't have a good base knowledge of. So
You're right, but I feel like it's a more of what your personality is. So I'm kind of a person who's very adaptable and flexible about learning new things and always looking forward to not just working on one sort of things on regular basis, but learning new softwares, new tasks, something new on the table, I feel like.
okay, Musa, why don't you tell me a little bit about what you're doing for your company?
Yeah, sure. So, if on the client side of things right now, Brad, I've been working with, as we spoke before, with a public adjuster based out of Wisconsin. And my client, I'd say it's very different from most of the clients we have, because
Yeah,
I don't think we have a lot of public adjustment firms. We have a lot of insurance agencies
yeah,
and companies, but not a lot of public adjusters. So that was new for me. That was new for Savvital itself. And my guy he's an entrepreneur. He's not just public adjusting. He has a resort and
Yeah.
he has a chain of storage facilities. So with when working with him, I'd say around for the first month and a half, I was like, okay, this is gonna be a lot, right? But my this guy, he's been so accommodating and
Mm.
so caring, and the way he taught me these things. My title at his company is also an associate, so I wouldn't say I'm a virtual professional. I feel like I'm working with him
Yeah.
in his company, which is true. And because he's so helpful, I've been learning so much about the public adjustment side of thing in the states that I can pass on to other associates in the future,
Mm.
which will help them. And because you spoke about also the customer side of things, right, with Uswa. So his storage business and his resort business, they cater to a lot of customers. And I'd say a lot of the companies over there, they're gonna have this apprehension that I'm gonna hire a VA or a VP, and how are they gonna feel with the customers? How are the customers gonna feel about them, right? But I'd say because of our college backgrounds, because of our education, and because of our brief but extensive work experience, we've been dealing with people here, right? So
Yeah.
it's not much different.
No different.
You once you get the hang of these things, once you know how to navigate through software and stuff, it's all a game of confidence. And I'd say none of us here are shy of confidence. So it's been smooth sailing since then.
Yeah. So what type of tasks are you going, because you're working a little bit, as I understand, in each one of those
Yep,
verticals for your
yep,
client,
all
for
three.
the adjusting, for the storage business, and then he also owns, is it a resort, I
A
believe, too?
resort, yeah.
Yeah. So touch on just the different aspects that you're doing for those different verticals.
Yep. So I'll go vertical by vertical. So first and foremost is the adjustment side of things. Over there, I'm looking at documentation, calling up insurance companies when we're missing some adjuster information, some policy numbers, if a contract needs extensions. So basically, a lot of calling and emailing on that side of things. Then you have a lot of documentation. We use a CRM called Zoho, where we're completing
Okay.
these contracts through that CRM, and that CRM has been optimized by him and I to fully navigate these contract closures. We've automated the system in the past year, so that's been a big step. And on the storage side of things, from inbound, outbound calls, emails, billing, invoicing, late payments, calling up the companies if they're late on payments, bidding, auctions when the storage unit has been vacant for too long. So there's like a 10, 12 tasks in the storage business itself. Then on the resort side of things, my client has a lot of events, let's say during the summer, on Christmas, on Halloween, on Easter. It's a resort, so he holds a lot of events, festivities. So for those, we're looking at social media marketing, we're looking at SMS and email marketing, we're looking at ticketing through systems like Fair Harbor, where you can issue tickets and manage invoices for people. People are calling up and changing their dates, changing their packages. So a lot of customer service representation on that side of things.
Yeah. It's interesting for something like that because on the insurance side of things, for most of our agencies, our VPs, they can only do unlicensed work, which is still a lot. But for another company such as that, you're not as handcuffed to being licensed, unlicensed, where you can do so many more tasks and have
Yep,
so much more customer contact because there's not that license barrier.
yep.
So, boy, that's a huge advantage
Yep.
for working
I
outside
feel
the.
like without all that red tape, because I'd say he calls me his right hand man, which I love because I'm dealing with all of these things, and there's not a lot of legal red tape around these things.
Yeah,
So we're getting a lot done, and I'd say we spoke about this in our informal discussion.
yeah,
I'm working with a very diverse set of tasks. I'm dealing with a lot of my work changes every day. On Monday, I'd be doing something, and on Thursday, I'd be doing something, right? So that's what I love about my particular client because of how diverse it is, and I'm getting to learn and do so much. It's not mundane.
yeah, yeah, and it
True,
keeps
I
you
agree
interested.
with that. Yes.
Yeah. What do you just so on that? What do you guys like most about your roles that you're working in? Musab, why don't you
Yes.
start?
Yeah, so I'll just continue with what I was saying. What I
Yeah.
love most about is my client. As I said, he's an entrepreneur. He's teaching me a lot. So stuff like Zoho CRM, all these softwares on navigating, ticketing softwares, so much about. I knew a lot about social media marketing already, but the layers I've added on top of that. What I love about my role, in one simple word, is the diversity of work. There's so much diverse work. So that's what I'm enjoying currently.
Uswa, how about you?
Yeah, I feel like what just like Musab mentioned, what I like about my work is it's so fluid and it's not monotonous. What I do on regular basis is always just working on some new task or learning some new software um, related to insurance or marketing side. I mean, it's what keeps you going. Not just working on just a list of tasks on regular basis, kind of learning new things. My client is always so much into just training me on new things all the time, like working on new career sites every week. Because I feel like if I just work on a set list of tasks, I get bored.
Yeah.
I always just look forward, because this time what I really enjoyed about working with my agency was the marketing side.
Mm.
I used to go to their the Rocket referral website where we get the feedbacks from different customers, and then I used to select the best ones and make or create different posts for them, and then scheduling those on Facebook or social media sites. It kind of like makes you a little more happier, because whenever I do things that revolve around creativity, I
Mm.
feel more involved in doing that
Yeah.
work. So yeah.
Yeah. What are some things, and Usal, we'll start with you. What were some of the challenges you felt like, whether it was in the beginning or now, or what have been some of the difficulties?
Okay, so I would say sometimes I feel like the challenges that we face here in Pakistan are the internet or the connectivity issues
Mm.
that we feel. This whole barrier of sometimes we face lockdowns due to political reasons or something like that, and because of that, our work like kind of gets affected because of it. Otherwise, I feel like this is the biggest challenge that can come, which is coming in my mind or at the top of my head right now, is because we are working in different time zones and
Mm.
work needs to be done on time. And this is the kind of challenge that I feel like, if removed, can make everything go smoothly. Yeah.
Yeah. Musab, how about you? Any challenges you feel like you encountered either early on or now, or because I mean, anytime for me, any remote work, it can be challenging. It's just different than you can't have a face-to-face conversation. So there's going to be challenges. It's not a bad thing. It's just something you have to work through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd say one challenge I do face is that the night shift, as we spoke about, that's one of the biggest challenges, I'd say. Adjusting to that routine, that takes some time, that takes some
Yeah.
physical and mental
Hmm.
effort.
It does.
But and the other than that, you've already touched base on this, not being able to interact with the client, not being able to face to face, not being able to meet them, not being able
Yeah.
to immerse in their office culture. That feels like kind of a bummer, to be honest, because at this point I am friends with my client, and I'd really
Yeah.
like to. We have shared interests, we have so much in common, and we'd really like to have some activities, because he often give me a casual call and we're just having a conversation about our days, about what we're doing. So those are the two challenges, I'd
Wow.
say, that come with this role. Yeah.
Yeah. It's good
i'm not
segue. And
i'm not adding the part where he mentioned about the whole routine difference and everything in the time zone, because I'm more of a night owl, and I just love this routine of staying up all night because my mind works when I'm up during the night shift, not during the day.
yeah, because there was something I did want to ask about the adjustment. So Musa will ask you, um, the overnight. Now it is what, 8 a.m. or 8 p.m.
8 p.m.
in Islam? Yeah. So and so you'll be working till whatever, 3 4
3
a.m.
3 and
3 a.m.
4 a.m. Yeah.
How was that how difficult was that adjustment just to work overnight? I worked overnights when I was, probably about your age, which was I had a really hard time with it. I would often feel just sluggish after that. I seem to never get a good night's sleep. How did you adapt to that, and about how long did it take?
So I'd say when I came here, before here, I was at a 9 to 5 according to Islamabad, Pakistan's time, right?
Yeah,
So I think I had a 2 week break where I took time off of work before joining here and I came here. So one thing that I did notice was when I'm coming to work, when I'm coming to the office, it does help because you're
yeah,
around people, you're
yeah,
not in your room, you're surrounded by people who are also working. So that was something I noticed right off the bat. So when wanna keep a routine, when I keep myself optimized, I try to to work at least 3 days a week.
yeah,
Because when I don't do that, when I start working from home more and more, I tend to mess up my routine really bad. Work might end at 3 or 4, but my circadian rhythm goes off the charts so much that I'm up till 8, and
yeah,
then the next day is gone, and I'm
yeah.
sluggish and I'm lazy starting off work. So it's obviously we're giving a shout out to the culture here again, but being around people, being around colleagues, we're all social animals, whether Brad's in America, we're in Pakistan, we all need that interaction. And I'd suggest anyone who's switching to a remote job, whether they're anywhere in the world, not just in Pakistan or the States, I'd say optimize co working spaces. Start hanging out at your friends who are also working remotely. Just sit together because I
Yeah.
feel like that gives you a huge psychological edge.
Agreed. Agreed. And then there's a little bit of what's called white noise going on in the background. You just hear it. There's
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
activity, there's energy.
yep,
I can't stand working from home either. I
yep,
can't stand it. It's too quiet. During our, the when COVID just kind of really came about, and then most of our whole office went at home. I liked it for about the first couple weeks. It was
yep,
something different. Oh, I was at home, and I only live 10 minutes from my office here, but so it's not like it's a long drive or anything. But yeah, there were some benefits to being at home, but after that, I couldn't stand it. I just
yep,
missed that energy. I missed something going on. I missed that noise. I missed being able to talk to people, so it's yeah, good for you to have that option.
yep.
Uswa, how long are you do you typically go in the office, or do you work from home a lot of the time, or
I come to office regularly.
yeah,
Like I'm the kind of person who already lives away from home and I live in an apartment, so I prefer coming to office and interacting with people on regular basis. And I just love working from the office, and I also
yeah.
cannot just work from my apartment in a room isolated, because I get the rest of the day to just isolate myself and spend time with myself. So these are some good 9 hours I look forward to work here and just interact with my colleagues and work alongside them. Yeah.
You guys have done such a great job of talking about the Savvital culture, and you're not just saying the words. You can hear it in your voice. You can see it in your face, the excitement that you have,
Yeah.
which is fantastic. I mean, that's amazing. Any employer would want to hear that from their employee. I mean, that's what you want. I mean, culture is kind of a buzzword
Yep.
as it is, but then to really be able to create that, I mean, that's I'm so impressive. Can you just touch on a little bit? You've already, sort of touched on what Savvital, does in terms of outings, and can you kind of expand on that? What you do. I know you have birthday celebrations, and I think they do so much for their people. If you can expand on that for me, that would be great.
Yep.
Um,
So, so you want me to go first on this?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So, Brad, I know a lot of companies because I'm sure you have a lot of experience. And the word family and culture, you said is a buzzword, right? Every
yeah,
company uses it, whether even if it's a bad work environment, they're still going to use family and culture. But what I feel, what Uswa, a lot of the others here feel, because it's a young workforce, first and foremost, we're all, I'd say the average age of the office is like 26, 27. So
yeah,
we're all fresh out of college. We're all energetic. The management's energetic. We're all friends. we're
Mhm.
all doing outings. But on a company level, Savvital, because they've provided, they know the night shift is hard. That's why they've set this office up. They know the night shift does make you compromise on things. So in return of that, we have as Uswa spoke about this, we have an education, a publication, a marketing, an onboarding committee. We have an activities committee where we have secret Santa, we have trips up north. Over here in Pakistan, we have a beautiful northern landscape with the Himalayas, some of the highest mountains in the
Mhm.
world. So we go on annual biannual retreats. We have food drives, we have CSR initiatives like hiking. We just had one on Sunday. Most of the office went hiking up the trail. So there's so much that and our peers are doing to keep the building integrated, because there's Uswa's not the only one who's living alone, right? Okay, I get to live with my family, but there's a lot of people who are living away from their families,
Mhm.
and especially when you're working the night shift, you kind of have that vacant space for socialization, right? When are you going to meet people? Who are you going to meet? So I know people say don't make friends at work. That's what people say, and that's what I used to do before I came here to Savital, because I've genuinely made some really great friends here who I meet on the weekend too now because
Yeah.
they're my friends, man. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Uswa?
Yeah. So I also want to add, he talked about the committees that we have here. We have a whole room where we have this table tennis and all the management, all the colleagues, everybody. There's no kind of a hierarchy system here. We're just all gelling in and contributing to just random conversations, playing games, whether it be sequence or cards, or doing spontaneous ice cream runs during the shift or anything like it. So it kind of
Mhm.
what all makes it a wholesome work culture in the environment and the space for us to look forward to come here every day. So yeah, I feel like the connection and the bond we have and that we have made with this place cannot be described in words, I can say.
Yeah. Yeah. Musab, I think it's okay to make friends at work. I think it's
Yeah.
you're not supposed to date people that you work with.
And I'll give that another 10 years, Brad.
um, here's something that I struggle with kind of pretty badly, really, is and this is with remote work in general, because I have two remote workers now. I have a virtual professional from Savvital, and then I have a licensed person in the state of Georgia. So, um, do you have any tips for someone like me that can help um, incorporate remote workers into make you feel like more of the team? Because that's something, frankly, I've done a very poor job of, and I suspect that many others in my position have. I've just had difficulty incorporating our remote people into our team, making them feel like more of our team. Do you have any tips, any ideas for something like that?
Yep. So, one thing I do recognize is you said there's a lot of white noise. There's a lot of, we're literally just looking at each other on a screen. You can see me till here. We haven't met, right? So,
Yeah,
what can you do to integrate me? So, I feel like there's two types of clients which I've noticed over the past year because I've been working with so many people here right now. So there's the first type, which I'd say is the more efficient type, is that who see these virtual professionals as people. They don't see them as a service. They don't see them
yeah,
as something being outsourced. So for my client, he knows. He makes me feel like an employee at his firm. He makes me feel like I'm on the table to give suggestions, uh, to talk to them, to give critical feedback, to give any suggestions, right? Make them feel like a part of your team.
yeah,
And like you can do that through a lot of things. You might have some methods of your own, my client might have their own. That is very subjective what your methods are. But I'd say the best way is just to make them a part of your team, a part of your agency, a part of your company in whatever way you can. Make sure that they know that you're an employee at their firm too. You're not just an outsourced
yeah,
service. Because when you look at it as just an outsourced service, you're going to get patch of disconnectivity. You're gonna see there's no integration. You're never gonna be able to understand them, and they're never gonna be able to understand you and your work, which is gonna result in an overall poor quality of work. But clients who manage to make, let's say Oswa, let's say me, make them feel a part of their company, they're succeeding, they're happy, they're staying, they're
Yeah.
retaining their VAs, they're staying for more than 1 year, and they're very happily working. So that's an distinction. I get the crux of it. Make them feel like a part of your team. Just make them feel like an employee at your firm, and you're good to go.
Yeah, which I think adds to just you should connect with every one of your people and
Yeah.
just establish that relationship. And this is no different. And I think, but it does take just a little extra effort, um, to have that Zoom call and to not talk about work even. What do what things are you into? What do you enjoy?
Yep.
What's your family like? And I feel like I have gotten better, and I feel like I have gotten to know Rubab uh, much better over the course of the last 6 months than I probably did the first 6 months. And she's an amazing person, so I'm so glad that I have. Uswa, you have anything to add to that? Any thoughts?
I think Musab has pretty much covered
Yeah.
everything, and I can agree that we're all on the same page. Uh, j- just one word. I mean, communication is the key to everything. The more you're communicating with your employees who are working from different time zones in different regions of the world, I feel like just make them feel more connected to whatever is going on in the company. Give them the free space to contribute ideas or anything like it. And not just that, different team building activities. Now there are so many activities that are conducted online where everybody from different areas, they can like pitch in and participate and contribute to the best of their abilities. Because I feel like I am working with my client for the past um, 12 to 13 months now, and we all have this meeting daily towards the start of the shift and towards the end of the shift. We not just only talk about work, like what other things are going on in my life. Just like I like to share the pictures of my apartment with my client, because I shifted to Islamabad, I got my apartment, I started setting it up, I started buying things for it, and she was so much into knowing about my
Mm,
culture and everything that's going on in my city. Who do I hang out with? What do I do on weekends? My hobbies, interests, and everything. So it
yeah.
kind of makes that bond, the whole relationship with the client you're working with, very easy and like open and flexible. And you're just there working with them and bonding with them on so many things that work doesn't look like work. It looks more of like
Yeah.
you're learning out of it, and you're just getting to know new things about new people from different areas of the world. And it kind of makes your personality so flexible. I feel like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's the
Good.
amazing part.
Yeah. Good. Last question for you guys. So if there are people listening that are considering hiring a virtual professional, what would be your sales pitch on why they should use Savvital as their virtual assistant agency? You've made so many good points so far, but tell me what you would tell someone why they should use Savvital. Uswa, let's start with you.
Okay. A solid pitch, kind of how can I sum it all up for the Savvital virtual professionals? I would say if you're looking for an energetic and a passionate and a very enthusiastic professionals who from their soft and hard skills not only can help you in solving your problems but also help you in handling your day-to-day tasks by delivering to the best of their abilities, I feel like this is the right place to get all your services done uh, in the best professional manner.
Well done, Musab.
Oswa, pass. It's my turn. I'm gonna come. I'm gonna come from a very marketing point of view, because that's what I
Yes.
am by my theory. So, if you're looking for someone who can help out in your agency, you have to look nowhere else but Savvital, because it's cost effective. We all have the best college degrees in the country. We're all very fluent in English. And as Uswa spoke about the soft and hard skills, we have a multitude of skill sets. So I'd say you should ignore the white noise. You should ignore your apprehensions and come have a consultation call with us. You won't be disappointed.
Boom.
Yep.
Well done to you both. Hey, I want to thank you guys so much for taking the time. You guys were both fantastic, represented yourselves and Savvital so well. I'm so impressed, and I think everybody else will be too. Hang on for me just a second. I'm just going to close this thing down. Thank you, everyone else, for listening to another episode of the Agents to Owners podcast. We'll see you next week. Bye, guys.
Thank you. Bye bye.